What if one thing that's actually holding your business back is your desire for instant results? Today, I'm talking about why the ability to wait, to delay gratification, is actually a massive unlock for sustainable business growth.
Welcome to Small Business Big Visibility, the podcast empowering you, adventurous small business owners, to attract your ideal customers and boost your revenue. I'm your host, Jason McKenzie. Each week, we'll explore easy-to-implement tools and strategies to take your business to new heights and build the lifestyle you want. If you're ready for more profits and less stress, let's get started.
So right now, as I record this, I'm sitting in my old truck. It creaks, it rattles, probably more than it actually rolls. Honestly, to a certain extent, it's actually a little bit of a miracle that it's still running. Now, I could have been driving a nice, leather-seated, smooth-riding dream truck right now. I had the funds, I had the itch, and I had all the reasons lined up, but I didn't buy it. Why? Because that dream truck was my marshmallow. Here, let me explain. There's this famous study, the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment, where they sat kids down and gave them a marshmallow. The deal was simple. If they waited and didn't eat it, they'd get 2 marshmallows instead of 1. But if they gave in and they ate it, well, that was it. They just got 1 marshmallow. Now, the whole point of the experiment wasn't really all about sugar. It was about self-control. It was about resisting that right now reward for the greater reward that would come in the future. Now, whether you're running a business, just starting one out, scaling it up, or just trying to survive one, every day feels like its own marshmallow experiment, right? That truck I wanted, it was more than just a vehicle. It was a comfort. It was a status symbol. It was a, hey, you've made it reward. But deep down, I knew it wasn't time. It wasn't the right reward. It was a shortcut, a temporary hit of dopamine that would have actually slowed down the bigger vision I had. So instead, I made a decision and I drove the old truck and then invested a bunch of that money into building a future that I actually wanted. And here's the crazy part. This truck, the one I'm sitting in right now, it actually became way more valuable than I thought, but not to anyone else. For me, it became a symbol. It was a daily reminder of the sacrifice that I made on purpose, not because I couldn't afford the new truck, but because I chose something greater. And you probably have something like that too. Maybe it's not a truck. Could be something you're holding off on, something you want right now. Maybe it's, I don't know, new motorcycle, 4-wheelers, snowmobiles. Maybe it's just nicer furniture in the office. Launching something flashy. Maybe it's taking that dream vacation that you feel like you earned, right? The question is, will doing that now pull you away from your future or help you move towards it? Now, this episode's not about deprivation. I'm not saying you should live like a monk or anything like that. What I'm saying is that you have a vision of that matters. There's going to be moments, big and small, where you're going to have to choose long-term gain over the short-term pleasure. The hard part is when this happens in the middle, in that awkward gap between the decision and the reward. That's where people start to drift. That's where they get tired, lose their focus, and settle for less. So, how do you keep on going? Well, there's a few steps that make it easier for me. First, you have to want that future vision more than you want the comfort. This is about rewiring your mindset. Every time you say no to scrolling on social media, watching movies, or sleeping in late, you're saying yes to the bigger thing you're building. But you have to keep reminding yourself why that bigger thing matters. Second, you've got to keep your vision in front of your face all the time, every single day. If you don't, it's going to drift into the background, and it becomes easy to rationalize the little detours on your trip. You'll say, well, shoot, it's just one night of gaming, or that one impulse that's not really going to hurt. And maybe it won't. until you set it 50 times and you stack those on top of each other, on top of those, and then you wonder, why am I not making progress? All right, number 3 is to celebrate. You got to celebrate the small wins. If your goal is to double your business revenue, you don't wait until you've actually accomplished that number before you acknowledge all the progress. Set some milestones, and when you land a dream client, take your spouse out to dinner or something. When you finally launch that thing that you've been stalling on, buy yourself something small. Now, it doesn't have to be huge, but it has to feel like a win. Here's some things that I've learned sitting in this old truck. Momentum comes from meaning. When your sacrifice has a purpose, it stops feeling like a loss and starts feeling like an investment. You're not giving up the marshmallow. You're trading it in for something much bigger and better. So here's the big idea. Delayed gratification, it's not about denying yourself forever. It's about making intentional trade-offs that are going to serve your long-term vision. Now, when you align your decisions with your future instead of just your feelings, you're building something that can last. You don't burn out as easily. You don't feel as pulled by the shiny objects. You have more clarity, more confidence, and ironically, more peace. You already know how to work hard. What's harder is choosing the right hard things at the right time. That's what's going to build a business that you can be proud of. And it doesn't mean never rewarding yourself. It means rewarding yourself in proportion to your progress. Not too early, not too late. Just enough to fuel your fire and remind you, hey, this is working. So, whatever your marshmallow is, name it, write it down, and then decide what's worth more. The thing right in front of you or the future you could build if you waited just a little longer. Discipline is the art of staying true to what's most important to you. Hey, if this episode hit home for you, do me a favor, send it to some other business owner who maybe they're in a position where it would help. And also, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a future episode. Until next time, stay focused, don't eat the marshmallow, and watch your business thrive.